My daughter's algebra teacher kept giving her zeros on perfect homework. Every single assignment came back covered in red ink with comments like sloppy work, needs improvement, and show your steps properly. I'd sit with Emma at our kitchen table every fight at night, watching her work through each problem methodically. Her math was flawless. Every answer was correct, but Mrs. Bennett kept marking everything wrong. At first I thought maybe Emma was making small errors I couldn't catch. I'm pretty good with numbers, but algebra has changed since I was in school, so I started checking her work more carefully, even looking up the problems online to verify the solutions. Emma's homework was perfect every time. When I emailed Mrs. Bennett asking for clarification on the grading, she responded with a curt message about how Emma was clearly getting outside help and needed to demonstrate understanding in her own words. She suggested Emma might benefit from less parental involvement in her studies. That stung. I'd always helped with homework when asked, but I certainly wasn't doing the work for her. The situation escalated when Emma came home crying after getting another zero on an assignment she'd spent 3 hours perfecting. This time, Mrs. Bennett had written copied in large red letters across the top with a note saying Emma would need to redo it during lunch detention. Mom, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Emma sobbed. She keeps telling me my methods are too advanced for my grade level, but this is how you taught me to solve these problems. That's when something clicked. The methods I'd been showing Emma weren't typical 8th grade approaches. They were more sophisticated techniques that I'd learned through years of advanced study. The breaking point came 3 weeks later. Emma scored 98% on her state standardized math test, HEE, one of the highest scores in the district. That same week, she got another zero from Mrs. Bennett on homework that was identical to problems she'd just aced on the state test. I'd had enough. I scheduled a parent-teacher conference immediately. Mrs. Bennett sat across from me in her classroom, surrounded by motivational math posters and color-coded binders. She launched into a well-rehearsed speech about how Emma was clearly getting inappropriate assistance and couldn't possibly understand these advanced concepts without someone else doing the thinking. She pulled out a thick stack of Emma's papers, all marked with harsh red corrections. Look at this methodology, she said, pointing at Emma's work. This isn't how we teach factoring in 8th grade. She's obviously copying from somewhere. Mrs. Bennett continued her lecture about academic integrity while I sat quietly, letting her dig herself deeper. She explained how Emma's solutions were too clean and showed knowledge beyond her years. She even suggested that Emma might be using some kind of online homework service. These techniques she's using, Mrs. Bennett said, tapping the papers with her pen, they're graduate-level approaches. No 8th grader could come up with these methods independently. I let her finish her entire speech. Then I quietly reached into my purse and placed my business card on the table between us. Mrs. Bennett glanced down at it. Her confident expression cracked as she read the words. Then her face went completely white. Dr. Sarah Chen, Professor of Mathematics, State University, Department Head of Advanced Calculus and Algebraic Theory. The room fell silent except for the hum of the fluorescent lights overhead. Mrs. Bennett stared at the card like it might disappear if she blinked. Those graduate-level approaches you keep marking wrong, I said calmly. I developed half of them. They're published in the Journal of Mathematical Education and the International Review of Algebra. They're now part of the standard curriculum in advanced programs nationwide. Mrs. Bennett's mouth opened and closed without any sound coming out. The homework you've been marking as too sophisticated, those are the exact methods I've been teaching university students for the past 15 years. And the same methods I've been helping my daughter with when she asks. I gathered Emma's papers from the desk, all those red-marked assignments that had caused so many tears. I'll be speaking with Principal Martinez about getting my daughter transferred to the honors mathematics program, I said, standing up. And I'll also be discussing your teaching credentials and grading practices. Mrs. Bennett stammered something about misunderstandings and different pedagogical approaches, but I was already walking toward the door. The next morning, I got a call from the district superintendent. They wanted to discuss Mrs. Bennett's pattern of irregularities with several students whose parents had complained about unfair grading. My daughter wasn't the first to be targeted. Turns out Mrs. Bennett had been systematically failing kids whose parents might question her authority or methods. She'd been protecting herself by crushing anyone who might expose her limited understanding of the subject she was supposed to teach. When I arrived at school that afternoon to pick up Emma, Mrs. Bennett was cleaning out her desk while Principal Martinez stood nearby with a security guard. She couldn't even look at me as she carried her cardboard box through the hallway toward the parking lot.